Good morning and welcome to the 2021 Candidates Forum. I am Laura Gayton, Chair of the Aorn Nominating Committee. I have the great privilege of introducing the members of the Nominating Committee for the 2020-2021 term. They are Amy Brunson, Jeffrey King, David Reinhardt, David Taylor, Missy Merlino, Advisor, Hannah Campbell, Staff Liaison, Linda Groh, Ex Officio. Before we begin, I would like to walk through some helpful tips for the Zoom platform. To enhance quality of the audio, we ask that your webcam and microphone be turned off during the presentation. You can find those controls at the bottom left corner of the Zoom screen. For a better viewing experience, we suggest the side-by-side mode. When viewing the Zoom screen, click on View Options up on the top and select side-by-side mode. If you have any technical questions during the presentation, you may submit them via the chat box, and an Aorn staff member will respond to you accordingly. Lastly, all candidates will have their cameras on prior to and during their speech and Q&A presentation. Once they have finished presenting, they will turn their cameras and microphones off. Now let's get started. As a voting member, we hope you will take the time you need to review and evaluate the candidate's material in order to vote for the individuals who are best qualified to further the mission of AORN. The candidates' bios and election statements, along with other background information, can be found on the AORN Voting Matters webpage. The individuals presented as candidates during today's forum are to be congratulated for accepting the nominations to elected offices of AORN. During today's webinar, each candidate will present their speech and answer questions developed by the 2020-2021 AORN Nominating Committee. The questions have been randomly assigned to each individual candidate during the Q&A. Candidates may request that their questions be repeated one time. The speeches and Q&A session will be moderated by a member of the AORN Nominating Committee. To assure equal time for the candidates, preset timeframes will be strictly enforced. Each candidate's timeframe to answer the questions will be announced by the Nominating Committee member hosting that specific group of candidates. To assist the candidates in monitoring their time, Hannah Campbell, our AORN staff liaison, is a panelist for this webinar and will manage the stopwatch. If a candidate continues to speak after the time limit has been reached, a bell will sound and the candidate's microphone will be muted. It is now my pleasure to welcome Nominating Committee member Jeff King to present the candidates for the Nominating Committee.
Thank you, Laura. There are 6 candidates for the office of Nominating Committee. 2 are to be elected. Each candidate will begin with their speech. Directly following their speech, they will be asked one question. Candidates will have 3 minutes to present their speech and 1 minute, 30 seconds to answer their question. Our first candidate is Crystal Bricker. Crystal, when you are ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning. My name is Crystal Bricker, and I'm the Nursing Professional Development Specialist at Carl Broman in Normal, Illinois, and I'm excited to be running for a position on the Nominating Committee this year. I've been a proud member of AORN since 2013, and have served in a wide variety of roles on a local, state, and even national level. From the very first day I stepped foot into the operating room, my preceptor taught me the important role of advocacy. She helped me understand that my patients were relying on me to be their eyes, ears, and voice while they were under my care and couldn't speak for themselves. That core value of advocacy is one that I have carried with me as I've transitioned into the role of clinical staff educator and other leadership opportunities that I've had throughout my perioperative career so far. As a candidate for the nominating committee, advocacy is at the very heart of my vision and goals in representing you and being a voice for my fellow perioperative peers. My vision is to connect with members and learn what they view as important elements in the election process. I strive to understand what motivates and also deters members from participating. This way, we can be better informed when we review, revise, and plan out other important candidate activities. My goal is to increase engagement in the election process. That comes from connecting with you. What ideas do you have to improve the process? What information on candidates do you want to know to help you connect with them and also make an informed decision when you cast your ballot? What activities do you think would encourage members to actively participate? Gaining insights like these will be helpful when we target interventions to accomplish the goal of increasing engagement and also promoting member participation. Just as we, perioperative nurses, advocate for our patients, those we choose to represent us in national office become our advocates. They bring our voices to the boardroom when decisions about the organization are being made. As a dedicated member of AORN, the potential to be your voice on the nominating committee is truly an honor. And I humbly ask for your vote of support so I can serve and advocate for you, my fellow members, in this very important role. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Your question for the Office of Nominating Committee is, how would you advise future candidates to prepare themselves to step into AORN leadership roles?
Jeff, would you mind repeating the question for me, please?
Yes. How would you advise future candidates to prepare themselves to step into AORN leadership roles?
I would recommend just getting involved on your local chapters, trying to find out how AORN works. Actively participating is key in really building yourself and understanding the organization and putting yourself out there. I started out at my local chapter and I've worked my way through just being willing to be open to different opportunities. And now I currently have had opportunities to serve on national level committees such as the Clinical Nurse Educator Specialty Assembly. And it all comes from being open and willing and seeking out those opportunities when they arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Our next candidate is Andrea Mary Dyer. Andrea, you may begin.
Thank you, Jeff. Hello, everyone. I am extremely honored to be considered a candidate for the 2021-2022 AORN Nominating Committee. Advocating for patients undergoing surgical intervention and for the entire perioperative healthcare team are central to my core. My perioperative nursing career began 11 years ago. Employed as a travel nurse and in the role of an educator in the perioperative arena has provided me with opportunities to explore strategies and promote advocacy for patients, their families, and for nursing. The role of the nominating committee is to build a diverse ballot. My role as a traveler and the association with AORN has given me opportunities to meet many experienced leaders. Through these opportunities, I will be able to select the best candidates to AORN into the future. In the workplace environment, I view myself as an advocate for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Incorporating open and honest communication among multi-generational team members is one of my strengths. My transformational leadership style focuses on fostering and empowering a culturally diverse healthcare team's productivity through acceptance and collaboration. Every day we move closer to a common goal of excellence in healthcare, both for our patients and for each other. As I reflect on my reasons for seeking your vote to serve on the nominating committee, two words come to mind: succession planning. My goal on the nominating committee are to enhance the success of Aorn by identifying and creating a ballot of future leaders that will be composed of individuals with diverse backgrounds and that are innovative thinkers. Their skills, experience, and perspectives will provide Aorn's future leaders and its membership a wide range of solutions to grow a healthy organization. My name is Andrea Dyer, and I would appreciate your vote for the nominating committee.
Thank you, Andrea. Your question for the office of nominating committee is, regardless of the office, what traits will you look for in individuals seeking a place on our national ballot?
Will you repeat the question, Jeff?
Yes. Regardless of office, what traits will you look for in individuals seeking a place on our national ballot?
One of the biggest traits that I'll look for is that people for the ballot will be genuine, that they'll have accountability, that they'll be reliable, that they'll understand the organization's missions, that they'll be courageous, and they'll stand up for what they believe in. I started so many years ago, and I have so many other leaders to look up to, and I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned. So I'll look for what I look for in the other leaders for this position. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Andrea. Our next candidate is Sonia Furr. Sonia, you may begin.
Thank you, Jeff. Colleagues, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sonia Furr, and I am running for the office of nominating committee. It has long been a goal of mine to represent my perioperative peers at the national level in AORN. Like many of you, I wanted to make a difference in the lives of others, so I chose nursing. That passion has driven me to become a mentor and leader in nursing. As a new graduate, I entered the workforce as a cardiovascular recovery nurse, learning quickly the challenges that we face as nurses caring for our patients and their families. After 11 years, I transitioned to the operating room. Although it has now been 25 years, I've not forgotten what it's like to be a novice nurse in the operating room. Over the span of my career, I have developed leadership skills serving as preceptor, mentor, clinical supervisor, and most currently as perioperative clinical educator, which still draws on my scrubbing and circulating skill sets. So what qualifies me for a position on the AORN nominating committee? Along with active engagement and participation in perioperative nursing at the local, state, and national levels, I am passionate about mentoring all age groups to their full potential as nurses as well as leaders. The nursing shortage is now upon us as the silent and baby boomer generations leave the workforce. It is imperative that we foster growth and development of our future perioperative nurses. We hold the key to the knowledge, experience, and valuable lessons learned that will help future nurses be successful and resilient through career challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic we are still working through. We must encourage mentorship from those that are retiring to ensure knowledge is conveyed, as well as foster acceptance of new innovative leadership methods developed by our younger generations. My current role as nurse educator has taught me to listen to my team, hearing what they need for education and growth, and to recognize the importance of reducing the knowledge gap we are beginning to see in all areas of nursing. Reflecting upon 2020, the year of the nurse and midwife, I've seen such strength in nurses who have mentored others, found solutions to care for those affected by COVID-19, and ways to improve PPE protocols, not to mention aiding our novice nurses in navigating one of the most difficult years of our careers. As a member of the nominating committee, I would work to ensure that we maintain a knowledge-based balance of board members, meaning that we need to embrace all age groups on our board to ensure knowledge is conveyed and innovation continues to occur. My vision for AORN is that it continues to provide valuable education and engages all members to gain ideas using written and electronic methods, acknowledging that many of our members are still not tech savvy. As you cast your vote, I humbly ask that you remember me, Sonia Furr, for nominating committee, the one willing to work in service for you, in service for our patients, and in service for perioperative nursing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Your question for the Office of Nominating Committee is, what lessons have you learned from your experience as a candidate that you could use as a member of the Nominating Committee?
Lessons I've learned is that you have to be patient with yourself, and during the process, you have to have faith in yourself and rely on your peers that have nominated you to seek guidance and seek, what they want you to speak about or to hear. I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize. I want you I have just trusted my peers. I have trusted those that have mentored me in the past as leaders to, be confident in myself through this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Our next candidate is Christopher J. Hodgins. Christopher, you may begin.
Hello, colleagues. My name is Christopher Hodgins. I am so excited to be a candidate for the Aorn Nominating Committee. The Nominating Committee has the responsibility to prepare and present a slate of qualified candidates annually for all elected positions. Today, I would like to share with you my qualifications for this position. My career in healthcare started over 26 years ago as a surgical service specialist in the United States Air Force. Since then, I've held positions as a surgical technician, circulating nurse, charge nurse, clinical coordinator, and nurse manager. As a perioperative clinical specialist manager, I currently work in the medical device industry and lead a team of talented nurses. These positions have provided me the invaluable experience of reviewing applications, conducting interviews, and selecting qualified and diverse candidates, from ancillary staff to director level positions, the skills required for a member elected to the nominating committee. I have served Aorn at the local, state, and national level. My active involvement has provided me the opportunity to collaborate with perioperative professionals throughout the country. The positions that I've held during my tenure in healthcare and within Aorn have uniquely prepared me to serve you on the nominating committee. Over the last several years, my time and energy has been spent and focused on legislative work. In conjunction with other perioperative leaders, we started a grassroots effort focused on surgical smoke evacuation legislation in Georgia. We have worked diligently to establish relationships with our legislative representatives in both the state Senate and House of Representatives. I am fortunate to have had the opportunity to participate in hearings for the Georgia Senate Surgical Smoke Study Committee by presenting education on how surgical smoke is created and easily evacuated, as well as a presentation on respiratory protection for healthcare workers. While the Senate Surgical Smoke Study Committee voted unanimously in our favor, there is still more work to be done. If elected, I pledge to bring the same energy, passion, spirit of collaboration, dedication, and many years of leadership experience to the nominating committee. I ask for your vote and will be honored to serve you on the nominating committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Your question for Office of Nominating Committee is, do you think having candidates from different geographical regions is an important consideration for the ballot? Why or why not?
I do. Aorn is a community of over 43,000 professionals around the globe, and we all share the same passion for advancing perioperative nursing. We are a diverse community, like I said, that stretches around the globe, and I think that we need to embrace that. One of Aorn's values is diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, and I think that we need to be inclusive of all of our perioperative members. Aorn stands for the Association of Perioperative Registered Nurses. So I think we need to look outside the traditional roles of the OR when we're looking for candidates. And if I'm elected, I will choose qualified candidates regardless of their gender, sexual orientation, race, color, religion, or where they work or where they live. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Our next candidate is Christopher L. Peredne. Christopher, you may begin.
Hello, fellow perioperative nurses. It's an honor and a privilege to be speaking to you today, and it's an honor and a privilege to be nominated for this position. Thank you for your participation in this important process of electing officers for our Association of Perioperative Registered Nurses. My name is Chris Peredne, and I am a lifetime member of AORN. My involvement with AORN started when I was a nursing student and first found the field of perioperative nursing. With a lack of material in school, I turned to my local chapter and National Expo to find out more about perioperative nursing, and in turn ended up gaining a community, one that has continued to support me as I work on my doctorate in nursing practice. I've continued to be an active part of the local chapter, serving as president for 2 terms, and I was also part of the team organizing educational sessions on behalf of the great members and leadership of Evergreen AORN 4801 here in Washington State. On the national level, I've had the amazing opportunity to work with AORN leaders for several years on the Clinical Nursing Practice Committee. There are many emerging technologies that will impact perioperative care, including nanotechnology, genomics, robotics, and the mining of big data sets. AORN will be at the center of providing guidance on changing perioperative structures over the next decades. One of the implications of the new technology is the need for data governance to manage, analyze, and share data on interventions and outcomes to provide evidence for improving perioperative care. AORN is a worldwide thought leader in perioperative care and can continue to work in cooperation with other organizations to break down silos within and between healthcare systems to share data and optimize outcomes for the whole population of surgical patients nationally and internationally. It is an exciting and challenging time in perioperative nursing. The challenges of COVID and the challenges of new and ever-evolving technology require strong leadership. If elected to this position, I will help guide the selection of new leaders for our great association. To play off the words of the immortal John F. Kennedy, I would ask instead, what is it that your association can do for you, your patients, and how can AORN leaders best serve you, its members, our patients, and the wider perioperative community? Thank you again for taking an active role in the future of your Association of Perioperative Registered Nurses.
Thank you, Christopher. Your question for the Office of Nominating Committee is, as a member of the Nominating Committee, how would you encourage diverse members to become involved in AORN at the national level?
I think reaching out, as Christopher said before, across the nation, but also modeling, it's very important. The diversity, I think, of the board has increased over the last few years, and I think that encourages more people to see themselves in that role, because if the people they see up there do not seem to be like them, then it says that it's not a place for them. But it's getting that kernel started and rolling, and then continuing to support people, reaching out in our communities and finding people who may not have seen themselves in that role and encourage them to step forward.
Thank you, Christopher. Our next candidate is Tammy K Wooley. Tammy, you may begin.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're connecting from. First off, I want to say thank you for the membership to allow me to be on this year's ballot. It's an honor just to be considered to be on the ballot. If you read my bio in the AORN Journal, you know that I have been working in perioperative services since I was a new grad, which is almost 40 years ago. And I've been a member of AORN for 38 years. Perioperative nursing is my profession and my passion. What can I do to represent you on the nominating committee? My job will be to recruit members like yourselves that want to become leaders at the national level in our organization, but maybe have never considered it or don't know how to get more involved. These future leaders are the ones that will represent our organization at the highest level and keep the mission and vision of the organization at the forefront. Leaders must have their own compassion and drive to focus on our evidence-based practice and education for our members to keep our patients safe when undergoing surgery. Just as this past year has been challenging for all of us, it can also be challenging to find members who, in addition to their home and work obligations, have the time and energy to volunteer to serve on the Aorn board. I will be looking for members who have been active in their local chapters and are passionate about making sure that our organization survives and thrives another 100+ years. Just as technology in the OR suite continues to change, we must adapt to change in what our organization looks like and access to our members. We need more out-of-the-box thinkers. Aorn and our board has done an outstanding job this year continuing to change in the new environment of online learning and less in-person meeting time. For example, this format to meet the candidates is an innovative way to continue with business as usual, but in a format that is accessible to everyone. Aorn should be commended on the work that has been accomplished to keep our nurses and our patients safe during the onset of COVID and the rapidly changing recommendations. I appreciate your vote. Go directly to the end of the ballot and vote for Wooley. Last on the ballot, but first in working for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Your question for the Office of Nominating Committee is, AORN is focusing on diversity, equality, and inclusion. How are you going to encourage diverse members to run for office?
Thank you, Jeff. I think just what everyone has said before is we do represent all types of nursing. You know, in perioperative nursing, it's just not the OR, it's the PACU, it's the GI lab, it's our prep partners. And, you know, I think we're not tapping into those people as well as people who actually work in the ORs. So I think, again, you know, where we are in 2021, that is a theme for us everywhere about diversity and incorporating differences in opinion and looking for people who are interested in serving on the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, candidates and Jeff. That concludes the nominating committee segment of the candidates forum. Next is the segment for the board of director candidates. Nominating committee member Amy Brunson will present the candidates for the board of directors.
Thank you, Laura. There are 9 candidates for the board of directors. 4 are to be elected. Each candidate will begin with their speech. Directly following their speech, I will ask them one question. Candidates have 3 minutes to present their speech and 2 minutes to answer their question. Our first candidate to present their speech and answer their question for the office of board of directors is Lisa Bailey. Lisa, you may begin.
At the close of each year, we take a look back to look forward, reflecting on the events and anticipating how they may shape the year ahead. Little did anyone know a novel coronavirus was emerging that would soon become the greatest health and economic crisis of our generation, and it would still be the top global concern of 2021. Aorn reacted quickly to the COVID-19 challenge and provided virtual expo and numerous educational tools for our members. 2020 was a long and challenging year, but as we moved into 2021, healthcare remains complicated and a hotly debated subject, and many changes remain on the horizon. It is imperative the leaders that you elect continue to explore models and methodologies to help tackle emerging challenges, including building partnerships with other organizations. Aorn, like other organizations, goes through a strategic planning process. Your board of directors will need to develop and build a strategic action process as we think through what we have learned and new opportunities. Many of you may not know, in addition to being a nurse, I'm a pilot. And these combined skill sets has taught me the importance of scanning the horizon and not looking backwards, but looking forwards. As we develop our strategic plan, I will look forward and be creative in thinking differently. So how can we be creative? We need to invest in training and strengthening nursing leadership. We need to develop new business models so we are less dependent on the bulk of our income coming from a face-to-face expo meeting. Technology as we know it will continue to change, and we must be prepared for it. Looking at new ways to partner with industry, to diversify, invest wisely, and we need to grow our membership. As we look forward, innovation remains at the heart of meeting the current healthcare challenges of our members' needs. President Wyatt made diversity, equity, and inclusion a foundation to build upon. I commit to build on our successes and serve with conviction, diligence, and motivation. I will bring not only what I have learned over this last year of innovation and change, but years of perioperative experience. I will work with the board and our members to shape decisions that position Aorn to meet the needs of our members and our organization for years to come. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote to serve on your board. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Your question for a position on the board of directors is, what do you feel is the greatest challenge the board will face in 2021? And how will this challenge be resolved to move the association forward?
Would you repeat that one more time, please?
Yes. What do you feel is the greatest challenge the board will face in 2021? And how will this challenge be resolved to move the association forward?
I think that some of the challenges that we'll face in 2021 will be continued from what we've developed and had to face through 2020 with COVID and the way that Aorn had developed the presentations of Expo and virtual meetings, such as what we're doing today. I believe that will be part of the technology that we'll be challenged with to better and increase more access, developing education in order to continue this virtual learning. The diversity and equity and inclusion are the foundations that we are building on currently, and to continue that, to have that equity and diversity evident across the organization.
Thank you, Lisa. Our next candidate is Deneen Cofield. Deneen, you may begin.
Thank you so much. Hello, yes, I'm Deneen Cofield, a candidate for Board of Directors from Nashville, Tennessee. I am honored to be nominated for this office as I desire to serve an organization that has provided me with so many resources along with fellowship and opportunities over the years. I have a passion for perioperative nursing and have been a member of Aorn for over 36 years. I have served as chapter president numerous times, served many terms on local chapter, state, and national committees, and had the honor of being the volunteer coordinator for the Expo in Nashville. We had a great time. In my role as vice president of perioperative services, I serve in a complex organization with over 56 operating rooms and 500 team members. I have over 36 years of experience in a strategic leadership role, working collaboratively with very diverse disciplines to reach common goals. When I'm asked what I do professionally, I will tell people, well, I'm the executive of a multi-million-dollar zero-defect enterprise that changes people's lives every day. I am a perioperative nurse executive. As a leader, I am committed to creating a culture of safety and mutual respect, and I'm committed to excellence in patient care. And to achieve all of this, I believe there must be joy in the workplace. This past year, Aorn has provided exceptional leadership for our profession, guiding our practice through the global pandemic to keep both patients and care providers safe. The board did an amazing job and pivoted to continue to grow and meet the needs of our membership. This work kept us connected and will need to continue with further expansion of virtual and digital event models. I also support the board's goals to be an industry leader in developing a comprehensive diversity, equity, and inclusion program that I'm sure will be a model for other organizations. I believe that my entire career has prepared me to serve on the board. If elected, I would use my years of experience to be a positive influence in planning the future course of AORN. I choose to be joyful in my approach to all things in life, which requires a sense of humor and humility. My vision is that perioperative nursing will continue to thrive in an ever-changing healthcare environment, with AORN shaping the care delivery model and elevating perioperative practice around the world using evidence-based guidelines. I would be honored to contribute to making this vision a reality. Therefore, I humbly ask for your vote to serve this great organization on the next board of directors. Thank you.
Thank you, Deneen. Your question for a position on the board of directors is, chapters continue to have challenges. Do you have recommendations for how chapters can continue to evolve or transition to a new model?
Thank you for the question. I believe that we as leaders are going to need to nurture and mentor our chapter leaders as AORN has always done, taking the lessons that we're learning and in the leadership role from our board who have so eloquently pivoted to making tools and resources to run digital and virtual types of meetings at the chapter level. We need to engage everyone. I believe that we have to share our values to help engage people, and a value is a belief stated publicly. So as we work to engage all of our membership, we should be able to have opportunities to improve our chapter membership with the new digital platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deneen. Our next candidate is Donna J Doyle. Donna, you may begin.
As a perioperative nurse with over 40 years of experience and a lifetime member of AORN, I would like to take the opportunity to highlight a few of my personal and professional accomplishments. I am most proud of having joined AORN early in my career. A mentor impressed on me the benefits of membership and involvement in my professional organization. Additionally, my mentor encouraged me to become certified, and I am proud to say I have held my CNOR since 1984. I am fortunate to have had several mentors throughout my career. Mentoring others is not only rewarding, but it promotes professionalism and it creates lifelong friendships. The perioperative environment is in need of individuals who possess not only a desire to be an advocate for safe patient care, but is also in need of individuals who are willing to mentor others and promote perioperative nursing. I'm an individual who has made perioperative nursing, mentoring, and succession planning a lifelong commitment. My involvement in AORN at the local and national levels have enabled me to carry out my passion, including co-developing a perioperative elective with the local university, serving as a member of the AORN Executive Roundtable, and most recently on the AORN Recruitment and Retention of Perioperative Nurses Task Force and the AORN Member Mentor Program. My qualifications include leadership and practice competencies, educational preparation, and experience on local and national boards. I possess a desire to make a difference by listening to member needs and being a liaison between members and AORN leaders. I believe it's important for board members to understand issues of importance to perioperative nurses. Just as I was mentored regarding the need for involvement in my professional organization, my vision is to cultivate that same desire in others, especially nurses who are new to perioperative nursing. I would be honored to serve. My name's Donna Doyle, and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Your question for a position on the board of directors is, as a global perioperative nursing association, what will you do as a member of the board to engage international nurses?
As a member of the board, if I am elected, I believe that engagement of all individuals across the globe is extremely important. I believe reaching out to those individuals who not only attend Expo, but who attend virtually is very important. By attending their meetings, by interpersonally interacting with them, I think that that will help to engage and energize those individuals to be members of the most important association of my career. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Our next candidate is Bill Jeffy. Bill, you may begin.
Colleagues, I'm running to serve you because I believe Aorn is something worth fighting for. I believe that every generation of nurses takes its turn, making our profession stronger for the next generation, and our history bears that out. Aorn members have consistently strengthened our profession over our 70 years. In 1949, Edith Hall and 16 OR directors created Aorn, and they changed the perioperative world forever. In 1976, Aorn members created the first recommended practices, which became the standard of care in operating rooms. Since 1990s, members like Brenda Ulmer, Kay Ball, Penny Smalley, and countless other members have fought to draw attention to the dangers of surgical smoke. Their efforts are leading to legislation that will protect future healthcare providers from the toxic byproducts of laser and electric surgery. In 2004, it was my honor to lead the team effort to eliminate wrong site surgery. Aorn members created National Timeout Day and the Timeout Toolkit. Our toolkit was the standard of care and was adopted for use by the World Health Organization. But to me, it is the work of our grassroots members that is truly amazing. For example, hundreds of RNFAs are fighting to gain recognition and reimbursement for their role in providing surgical care. Thousands of members have been active in getting Aorn circulator bills passed to ensure optimal care for their patients and the future of our profession. Tens of thousands of chapter members have donated their time and efforts to improve surgical care through education and by advocating for the use of the recommended practices in their perioperative suites. To me, Aorn is always about the members. Our headquarters is a repository of the members' work. Without the members, Aorn would just be another company selling products and services. It is the members' contribution that makes us different. Our products and services have historically come from you, the owners of perioperative nursing practice. Past and current members have donated their time and talents to Aorn because they knew the importance of shaping the future of our profession. I have served you as our treasurer and as our president. I came back to serve because I want to ensure that future generations of members have the same opportunity to make a difference in shaping our profession. You are the reason I'm running for office, and I will never stop advocating for you. Colleagues, as the owners of Aorn, I'm once again asking for your vote so that I can continue to be a voice for the membership. Thank you for being a member and everything you do to keep our profession strong.
Thank you, Bill. Your question for a position on the board of directors is, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing Aorn in the next 3 years? What solutions should Aorn use to avert this challenge?
Well, I think the number one challenge facing our association is the question of why. Not only the question of why does someone join Aorn, but the question of why they rejoin and continue to stay active in the association. This horrific pandemic has put pressure on us as an association because we've lost thousands of members over the past year. That means that to those members that this Aorn was something that they could give up, even though, as we talked about, and I just talked about my speech, it has been Aorn members whose job it is to advance and improve our profession. And so we need to answer that question of why do you join? And then we have to develop actions that can embrace that why and make members want to stay engaged. And so I would say, as we talked about, I think we have to look at what we can do to support the chapters, because that's where the great grassroots effort that makes Aorn become part of the sinew of healthcare is that what the chapters are doing to be able to change circulator laws, to help improve the recommended practices, to do local education. And I think we need to be able to get more members involved in committees and allow those committees to present their work. So we, as the voting members of Aorn, can see the talent that is out there. And then we can engage with those individuals so that they could become future leaders of our association. But it's all about engagement with the membership. That's going to be the #1 challenge, and then actively bringing them and showcasing our talents. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Our next candidate is Meredith D Lewis. Meredith, you may begin.
Thank you, Amy. Presence, power, policy. These 3 words embody our role as perioperative nurses, whether we are at the bedside, the boardroom, or beyond our own borders. What I bring to AORN is a well-rounded and seasoned view of perioperative nursing that encompasses clinical, academic, and leadership experience at the local level and in our global perioperative community. We have an expansive reach and impact as perioperative nurses. We must continue to strive to find innovative global partnerships that are inclusive and equitable, that reflect the incredibly diverse, rich, and beautiful tapestry of the perioperative teams and patients we represent and serve. We will do this and so much more by collaborating with focused intent to help meet the needs of our global perioperative community. When we work together to identify gaps in knowledge and care, we can then realize more robust, representative, and innovative solutions. Key responsibilities of an AORN board member are to embody our mission, vision, and values and be able to use them to guide and inform our association's growth and direction. The skills of diplomacy and consensus building are essential. I employ and enjoy networking and synthesizing, skills that bring people and departments together around a common goal. I have continued to develop my leadership skills. My past training and commitment to the nursing profession, AORN, and my own life goals have prepared me to be an innovative and collaborative member of the AORN Board of Directors. Colleagues, let's influence today by continuing to improve the quality of surgical care. Let's inform tomorrow by continuing to be the leader in patient safety, and let's inspire future leaders and stay focused on how we can grow AORN. We are perioperative nurses who make a difference. Presence, power, and policy. Let's be present at the table. I will bring your questions to the table. Let's speak our truth to power. I will bring your truth. Let's be a part of the policy conversation because together we have impact. Together we advance not only our association, but our entire profession. When one of us moves forward, we all move forward. It would be my honor and privilege to continue to contribute a legacy of service, leadership, and excellence to our association as a member of the AORN Board of Directors. Thank you for your vote.
Thank you, Meredith. Your question for a position on the Board of Directors is, what innovations will you bring to the boardroom to make sure that the voices of members are heard?
Thank you so much for the question, Amy. I think this year has been phenomenal, as a few of us have mentioned. Thankfully, technology has allowed us to bring our voices together even today, despite the challenges. And I think the voices of the membership, I think one conversation at a time, when we can engage and inspire each other at work, I think that that's the beginning of the conversation. And the challenge is keeping the conversation going while we're apart. So I think we can really leverage technology to enhance these relationships as we look forward to being together again. The voices of the members is the most important thing. It's the membership that makes us work and that keeps us moving and growing and being and doing all the things we need to do to support our values, our members, and each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Our next candidate is Barbara Nally. Barbara, you may begin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here today. I'm speaking to you today as a candidate for the Aorn Board of Directors. Like many of you, I care for patients every single day. I work in surgery as an RNFA and also as a nurse practitioner in perioperative settings. I've been an active member at both the local and the national level. I'm passionate about perioperative nursing. It led me to become an Aorn member early in my career. I share my passion with others by encouraging, mentoring, teaching, and learning from all those I encounter. Facing challenges in a variety of roles, including being a member of a non-nursing board, has given me insight and awareness when making critical decisions, undertaking strategic planning, or finding solutions to financial or other issues that arise. Being able to communicate a vision and direction are essential skills that have allowed me to implement changes in policies and procedures, creating increased workflow to meet the needs of my teams. Communication is a balance between talking and listening. I've learned to listen more and talk less to achieve greater outcomes. I have a proven track record of successfully and effectively leading and managing teams. The board is responsible for developing a strategic plan. It provides the foundation going forward. They're responsible for providing stability and support for the membership, developing strategies for events such as Expo and other long-range plans aimed at staying relevant in today's world. Our members come from diverse practice settings, making it imperative that we listen to their needs and gather their input when making critical decisions. Members are the heart of Aorn and today's heroes as they continue to provide safe patient care during a global pandemic. As a member of the board, I will partner and collaborate with my peers to identify solutions to the issues. I'll be proactive in identifying the risks and challenges impacting the membership. I'll focus on partnerships to improve and manage patient safety. I have the energy, experience to help support you, the members, my perioperative heroes. My vision is to promote communication, collaboration, and teamwork, engaging you, the members, to be part of the solutions. I'm Barb Nally. I'm asking for your vote for the Aorn Board of Directors. Thank you. Be safe. Be well.
Thank you, Barbara. Your question for a position on the Board of Directors is, if elected, what is your responsibility when serving on the Aorn Board of Directors?
My responsibility as a member of the board is to serve the membership, to ensure that we reach out to the members, that we reach out to diverse practice settings, that we engage the members, that we try and have open communication and transparency in what we do for the membership. It's critical that we get our members involved. And we have to make sure that we engage them on a variety of different platforms. You know, members are the key. They are the heart of Aorn. They are my perioperative heroes. And so I will be there to work for them, the membership. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Our next candidate is Heidi El-Nanovati. Heidi, you may begin.
Thank you, Amy. AORN members, colleagues, mentors, and friends, thank you for sharing a vested interest in your professional organization's leadership by joining us to hear the candidates for national office speak to you, the members. My name is Heidi Nanavati. I am a lifetime AORN member, and I am honored to be a candidate for the office of Board of Directors. COVID has changed our jobs as healthcare professionals forever, and 2021 has been designated the year of health and care workers. On average, 35% of medical professional organizations' revenue comes from educational meetings and seminars held throughout the year. A large amount of money has been lost over the past year due to COVID cancellations for all professional organizations. However, AORN has continued to keep the member in mind, doing an outstanding job providing numerous virtual education opportunities, along with resources and education specific to COVID preparedness and taking care of ourselves during these challenging times. As a perioperative nurse practitioner, I have the privilege of having a say in the business of our practice, and I have learned the impact COVID has had on the healthcare industry as a whole. Having this business acumen and seeing the changes taking place from the clinic to the ASC and the hospital, I plan to use this knowledge to contribute to the success of the business of our organization. In 2018, I was honored to be elected by you, the members, to serve on AORN's nominating committee and chosen by my colleagues to chair the committee. I feel this, along with other local and national leadership roles, has prepared me to serve you in the boardroom, enabling me to work and collaborate with others and communicate with an open mind and strong listening ear. As a candidate for the board of directors, I look to serve you, the members, keeping in mind the costs of membership, meetings, and other learning activities as we move forward, providing the necessary education and resources for you and your facility to practice safe patient care while continuing to ensure the success of the organization. I also look to mentor you in planning for the future of AORN's leadership, to lead within your chapter, your state council, and finally at the national level. A favorite quote of mine from Gandhi is: a sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. I am open-minded, respectful, member-driven, and forward-thinking. I will work for you, the membership, and what is best for our organization. I ask for your support.
Thank you, Heidi. Your question for a position on the board of directors is: if elected, how important is technology in connecting with other members of the board to ensure team dynamics?
Thank you, Amy. What a great question, especially right now with all we've endured in 2020 and 2021 and truly moved forward into a world of technology. We as board members need to come together to support each other, and utilizing technology to do this is imperative. I'm sure obviously we will have our monthly meetings still via Zoom for a while. However, even daily chats utilizing apps and things like that to communicate our desires moving forward. Also enabling the members to access us with their questions, since we won't be meeting face-to-face as often. I've loved seeing how chapters and specialty assemblies have come together and worked together to support each other, utilizing technology and sharing their meetings as well via Zoom and Teams throughout this year. And technology is going to play a huge part for us moving forward before we can have large gatherings again and meet face to face. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Heidi. Our next candidate is Rebecca K Portman. Rebecca, you may begin.
Colleagues, I want to start with two questions. The first one is, with so much opportunity for career advancement, why aren't more nurses pursuing perioperative nursing as a profession? Secondly, why aren't current perioperative nurses staying in our profession long-term? You see, I believe we can find the answers by elevating AORN services through conducting perioperative nursing research, advocating for policy changes, and breaking down barriers that prevent sustainable careers in our profession. AORN is a phenomenal organization, and I think we can expand and elevate our family of perioperative nurses. I feel we can grow through education, research, recruitment, and advocacy. My name is Rebecca Vortman, and I want to share why voting for me is the right choice. I've been a nurse, clinician, educator, and member of AORN for nearly a decade. It is my job to support and listen to present members, and it is my passion to build future leaders and perioperative nurses in our workforce, two things we greatly need. I am honored to have been nominated and understand that I will have to make tough decisions if elected. I have held several leadership roles over the years, and I know that even when faced with the stiffest challenges, I will have the strength of AORN's values and the voice of our members to keep me steady in my decision-making as a board member. Integrity, creativity, respect, reliability. All of the attributes needed to help members prosper. I am a problem solver to the core and relish the opportunity to champion nurses, especially those who feel marginalized. Thus far, my career has been a progressive realization of finding solutions to complex problems, and I'm asking for your vote because I know that I can address serious issues facing our perioperative workforce and the global AORN organization. We are at a time that calls for agile and robust leadership. COVID-19 still runs rampant, and many perioperative nurses experience workplace safety issues like surgical smoke exposure. We are a unique profession requiring specific skill sets, lengthy orientation processes, and tough recruitment efforts. I don't want to accept this. I want to create a better future through advocacy, research, and innovative evidence-based practice strategies to propel our members and future members to the rewarding heights of our profession. Thank you for your consideration, and I would be honored to earn your vote.
Thank you, Rebecca. Your question for a position on the Board of Directors is, this year, the Board of Directors revised the AORN value statements to include diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do you envision including these values in your work on the board?
Thanks for this question, Amy, and I appreciate this question is of interest to our members. We want to make sure our perioperative nursing profession and members reflect our patient populations and also within AORN membership. Ways to accomplish this could be through the development of scholarships for underrepresented folks, for either maybe higher education and work commitments in perioperative nursing, and with active membership. Also, I think that we could ask our members what else they would recommend if the board has missed a big spot in that endeavor. We should seek out input from our members. And I think before my time is up, I just want to say that I think we have lost an abundance of opportunities due to the pandemic, but I am extremely proud at how well AORN, our members and board members responded to the crisis. So lastly, I think we should think big to solve our problems and commit to our values and look forward to having a sustainable and strong perioperative nursing workforce. So let's collaborate and partner with each other. We are stronger together. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Rebecca. Our next candidate is Karen Y. White Edwards. Karen, you may begin.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you all for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak to you and convey why I want to serve on the board of directors for AORN. I'm Karen White Edwards. The K stands for knowledgeable. The W stands for willingness to serve. And the E stands for execution with excellence. As a transformational, future-ready leader, I bring a future-ready mindset that is critical in navigating through times of uncertainties. I have leadership skill sets and tool sets to allow me to remain open to innovative and creative ideas. I offer anticipation, drive, empowerment, connectivity, and cultivation. My vision is to increase the number of members' inclusiveness in utilizing the resources that are available on our AORN website, and to place an innovation tab on the front page of our website so members can have easier access to share creative and innovative ideas. Through my vision, we will be able to engage membership, participation, and collaborating in our practice, and empower membership input that will generate quality results that both patients and nurses expect. Through my vision, we will be able to cultivate membership relationships that includes mutual growth, integrated with diverse perspectives and values. See, the goal is to leverage the wealth of knowledge of our membership diversity that includes their insights and that includes their perspectives. This will help propel innovation and increase and heighten the skill set of OR nurses. I'm asking for your support in allowing me to represent your voice on the board for AORN. But most importantly, I'm asking for your vote. I'm Karen White Edwards, and I approve this message. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Your question for a position on the board of directors is, what makes AORN's mission meaningful to you, and how will you align to AORN's mission, vision, and values as a board member?
AORN's mission is it's the drive of any organization. When you have a mission, that's your purpose and your values to operate that, put the input behind that mission. And for me, how I look at the values of them putting diversity into spec, we have to know that taking care of our membership is the most important thing than anything else. After going through COVID-19, our nurses displayed an incredible sense of humanity and humility, and they put their own lives at risk. But we have to also support our profession through our mission by making sure we take care of our nurses, by honoring the ANA Code of Ethics, Code 5, that says it's not verbatim, but the same morals and respect that we have towards human mankind, we need to have towards each other. We need to have that in our mission. We need to have that with our members, and the same duties of responsibility that we have for others. We need to have that for our members, and making sure that we are there for them, for their safety. So yes, continuing to work to support legislation to help support a bill on smoke evacuation is a must do. Working towards a mission to make sure that we have inclusiveness in our organization, that we spread across a diversity of not just of membership, but just a diversity of our jobs, diversity of who you are as an individual, our talents, our skills, and not forget that we are working with 5 generations in the workplace. 5. So figuring out how do we close that gap. We can do all of this through our mission, and I support the values and the mission because that's why we exist today. And I applaud AORN for the work that they've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, candidates and Amy. This concludes the Board of Directors segment of the candidates Q&A. It is now my pleasure to welcome Nominating Committee member David Reinhardt, who will present the candidates for AORN Treasurer.
Thank you, Laura. There are two candidates for the role of treasurer. One is to be elected. Each candidate will begin with their speech. Directly following their speech, they will be asked two questions. Candidates will have 3 minutes to present their speech, 2 minutes to answer their questions. Our first candidate role for treasurer is Nikisha Archer. Nikisha, you may begin.
Good morning, Aorn colleagues. I am honored to be a candidate for treasurer for our dynamic association. I am currently a doctoral student graduating in 2 months. This coursework, combined with my MBA, has enhanced my knowledge, strengthened my business acumen in my role as a perioperative director, and prepared me to serve you as Aorn's next treasurer. The last 2 years serving on your board, we have faced unprecedented and challenging times. My courage, intense focus, engagement, and financial savvy have contributed to the success of our board and organization. Success and optimism during turbulent times speaks to my commitment, loyalty, and leadership. I'm proud of what we as a board and organization have accomplished. As an active and dedicated board member, when faced with tough decisions, my vote has always been cast with the best interest of our membership, organization, and patients in mind, all to ensure that Aorn is thriving to meet the needs of our members. In 2020, the decision to cancel Expo after 66 consecutive years was one of our most difficult decisions due to the disappointment our members experienced, as well as the negative financial impact it created. Last year, I was appointed to the Finance and Audit Committee. Through this work, I have obtained a more profound insight into the finances of our organization, as well as the in-depth fiscal knowledge required to be your treasurer. As rewarding and complex as this past term has been, there are more challenges ahead to overcome and important deliverables to be realized. I am ready to continue this meaningful work with the board as your treasurer. I have the experience, collaborative nature, bravery, fiscal expertise, and understanding of association finances to work with my colleagues, continuing to craft the innovative Aorn of the future. Building on Aorn's established culture of excellence and unparalleled value of membership is critical to remain the premier leading perioperative nurses association. I am confident that my excellent communication skills, passion, innovative spirit, unwavering integrity, and inclusive approach will continue to be a tremendous asset to the board. There's a quote that says, "There is power in a group of people who work together towards a shared goal." Especially with the right team dynamics, decisions, and diverse personalities. With this, everyone wins. I am Nikisha Archer, and I ask for your vote to serve you as Aorn's next treasurer. Let's win together. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikisha. Your first question for the role of treasurer is, what is the role of the treasurer and what experience do you have to fulfill this role? And please provide 2 examples.
So the role of the treasurer is really to be the key person on the board to work with the CFO to ensure a deep understanding of the finances and everything that it takes to keep Aorn thriving. In a nutshell, I don't have much time, so I could really go into a lot more detail, but a couple examples of why I have the ability to take on this role is that, of course I have an MBA, but that doesn't say anything for itself. I've had an opportunity to work on the Finance and Audit Committee, really learning a lot more about the in-depth finances of Aorn, because it is a business, and the business is what leads to us being able to provide our members the value that we have, as well as to continue our mission. Secondly, I would say having an opportunity to work on the board during a pandemic where we really expected a lot less than we've been able to accomplish. I mean, it really threw us a real big curveball. And I think the diversity in our group and being very inclusive about our approaches and really working well with our finance team at headquarters has really given me extra insight to thinking outside of the regular financing opportunities to look at what can we do differently in a climate that we've never been in before. So I feel like those two things have been significant outside of my education and my multi-million-dollar experience as a perioperative director.
Thank you, Nikisha. Your second question is, how important do you think vendor or partner relationships are to Aorn's financial sustainability? And what strategies should be considered to support them?
So I think vendor partnerships are extremely important to AORN, and I think they have for the history, I mean, as long as I can remember. But I believe that partnership is really what helps to, of course, drive the mission. And we really have great partnerships that have been able to help turn out many things that we have as far as like toolkits and partnerships that we have with different companies to create the things that our nurses have said and have spoken up to say that we need in the industry. So they really are super important to us. And I think that this past year, we've seen that we've had to get really, really innovative about how we approach that relationship. We have excellent relationships with our vendors, and I think that's what has also helped to keep us thriving. But I think we have to think about how do we do it differently in the new climate where we're not all in the same rooms together. So that relationship is imperative. But we do have other business strategies to help keep AORN thriving as well.
Thank you, Nikisha.
Thank you.
Our next candidate is Jamie Rhino. Jamie, you may begin.
Thank you, David. Hello, my name is Jamie Rideout. It is an honor to be selected as a candidate for Treasurer of AORN. If you have not already done so, I would encourage you to review my bio, election statement, and the online Q&A. In doing so, you will clearly see that with over 27 years of perioperative experience, I not only have the clinical and leadership chops to be the Treasurer of AORN, but I have the education by way of 2 master's degrees and 3 national certifications, as well as extensive, successful, relevant business acumen that more than qualifies me to be the Treasurer of AORN. So I'd like to not focus on those qualifications, they are apparent. What I would like to take this time to talk about is the reason why I would like to be the AORN Treasurer. I am not running for treasurer for status, recognition, or to climb political ladders. I'm not even sure I'm running with the intention of being president one day. 27 years ago, I dedicated my career to perioperative services, a career that at times has brought me to my knees and left me in tears, but also a career that has given me joy, opportunity, challenges, triumphs, and the ability to witness miracles that very few get the privilege to experience. I have come to a point in my life and in my career where I want and feel the need to give back. The landscape is ever changing, and AORN must continue to stay relevant by way of making wise investments and wise financial decisions. COVID has come and it will go, and there will be other life-shaking events in the future. The success of AORN's relevancy lies not only on excellent leadership, but most importantly on the voice of the member and member engagement. The members must choose their leaders based on what they want this organization to be and what they need from the organization and its leaders, and elect those leaders on the basis of trust and merit, whether the leaders are known or unknown, and have the ability to guide the organization in the desired direction. The organization cannot do these things without a strong financial foundation that allows resources to come to fruition for the membership. Colleagues, elect your leaders who share your vision and have the ability to influence others. I stand here as a symbol of what's possible when you work hard, get an education, know your core values, and have a little luck along the way. My name is Jamie Rideout, and I would be honored to receive your vote for treasurer, and I look forward to serving you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Your first question for the office of treasurer is, COVID has had an impact at all institutions, and Aorn is no exception. What ideas do you have on how Aorn can recover from the economic challenges of COVID and sustain the business of the association moving forward?
Yeah, it's a great question, David, and it's a tough question to answer since we can't really see around corners and know how long COVID's going to stay with us and any future impact that it's going to have. But I think just like the other candidates have mentioned is, we have to find a way to continue to reinvent ourselves. We can never lose sight of the membership and the needs of the members, and we have to use technology to reach the members where they are. Traveling, budgets, at the hospitals and for the members personally, in addition to financial impact for AORN, are a very real thing. And I think, coming together as a board and appreciating the mission, the focus on the memberships, and the unknown future of what COVID will bring, will have to help drive some of those decisions financially and also from a membership perspective.
Thank you, Jamie. Your second question for the role of treasurer is, if elected treasurer, you will be an officer of the board of directors. As an officer of AORN, how will you contribute to the efforts of diversity, equity, and inclusion for the association?
Thank you, David. I think certainly diversity, equity, and inclusion is very important, whether you're an officer of AORN, a leader of an organization, or a member of a community. And, I think that it's important that the leadership of AORN is reflective of the population that it serves. And, there are several ways to accomplish that and several ways to look at that question. Certainly encouraging mentorship and opportunities for involvement and education certainly is one way to encourage a diverse population to rise and have the ability to get leadership positions within AORN. But also, perioperative services is not just the operating room, and there are many, many layers of perioperative services. And so there's also inclusion that we can consider for preoperative nurses and recovery room nurses. I think research is an undervalued and a much needed part of perioperative services. And so I would encourage and support as an officer of the board and the board of directors to constantly expand their scope, to constantly widen their focus on what could be and not always on what has been.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidates and David. This concludes the treasurer segment of the candidates forum. It is now my pleasure to welcome the candidates for the office of president-elect. There are two candidates running for the position of president-elect. Each candidate running for president-elect will begin with their speech, and directly following their speech will be asked 2 questions. Each candidate will have 5 minutes for their speech and 3 minutes to answer each question. Our first candidate for the position of president-elect is Vanjie Dennis. Vanjie, when you are ready to present your speech, you may begin.
Thank you. As a perioperative nurse, have you witnessed the progression and the transformation of healthcare? What is your vision for our future? As a member of AORN, our premier perioperative nursing organization, how can we transfer the care we give and demonstrate the value of our profession? My name is Vanjie Dennis, and I intend to ask those difficult questions so we can participate in the type of transformational leadership that is needed today. If elected as your president-elect, I'm going to pledge my skills, my compassion, and experience to provide leadership for this journey. I have served over the last 8 years on the Nominating Committee, Board of Directors, and as your AORN treasurer. For over 35 years, I've held leadership roles at the local and state level with Aorn and national levels for other organizations. I recognize the need for greater advocacy for the perioperative profession and for the revival of the very passion that led us, so many of us, to become perioperative nurses in the first place. As we venture into this unknown future, the surprising lesson in this crisis is the leadership qualities we need right now. Great leaders quickly process available information, rapidly determine priorities, and make decisions with conviction. Leaders must break through the inertia to keep the organization concentrating on the business continuity of today while increasing long-term success by focusing on the issues that matter most. At the front lines of patient care, our members are indispensable for the successful execution of any strategy our organization may want to accomplish. Combating workplace violence, the opioid crisis, burnout, staffing shortages, these are but a few of the opportunities in which nurses can lead and have a positive impact on our future. When obstacles arise, I will listen to our membership. I will focus on our goals together, and we will achieve success. My leadership will promote engagement, communication, supportive relationships, and trust, which connect more nurses to AORN. I will lead by focusing our priorities. The healthcare crisis has sparked a financial situation, causing a need to establish new priorities to ensure continued strategic alignment. I will ensure that leadership teams are fully supportive and make corrections as events unfold. I will adapt boldly and get in front of the changing circumstances by seeking input and information from diverse sources. With our members, I will create a network of leaders and influencers who can speak with in-depth knowledge about the impact of today's challenging of our perioperative environment. Effective leaders commit to positive results, establish new metrics, we monitor performance, and create a culture of accountability. Together, we can engage for impact. Every perioperative nurse is a leader, and when nurses convene to address these growing concerns, it is then AORN's mission becomes a reality. Now is the time for the voice of nursing to extend beyond the boundaries of our common roles and into these non-traditional avenues, which mandate more invention, research, education, and advocacy. I will surround myself with innovators, doers, and believers. Leaders arise out of a personal passion for a better world, and I believe this can be accomplished through dialogue, shaping ideas, and responding to the membership. The secret of a great leader is the ability to inspire others with faith in their own high potential. And if there is ever a moment in our organization when pioneering and inventing view of leadership is needed, this is the time. Let us take our passion about excellence in perioperative nursing and become leaders in the ongoing transformation of healthcare. I would be honored to receive your vote for President-elect of the Association of Perioperative Nurses. Together, we can become a powerful voice and advocate for safe and quality healthcare. Again, I ask, are you ready for this transformation to change? I certainly am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanjie. Your first question for Office of President-elect is, what do you feel are the biggest challenges perioperative nurses will face in the next 2 years?
I think one of the largest challenges is the engagement of our membership. To know that this organization provides so much of that knowledge and change in our practice. So we, as an organization, have to look, as one of the candidates says, at a time where we have 5 different generations within the organization, each bringing a value. How do we keep that connectiveness still around all of us as we begin to try to sustain our financial stability and look at a new innovative way to gather us all together?
Thank you, Vanjie. Your second question for Office of President-elect is, 25% of our membership represent diverse cultures. This year, there are 2 diverse candidates for elected positions. This represents 10.5% of the membership. If you are elected PE, what would you do to encourage our diverse members to run for office?
Well, first and foremost, diversity is more than just policies, programs, and headcounts. It's a respecting the unique needs and the perspectives and the potential of all our members. And this results will earn more trust and more commitment. A diverse and inclusive membership is one that makes everybody, regardless of who they are and what they do, feel involved and supported in all areas. I think when people feel like their ideas, presence, and contributions are truly valued and respected, and they're taken seriously by the organization, they will stay involved. So I think looking at our diverse groups, to whether it's going outside the organization, but still in perioperative nursing, to keep that focus on those members will help keep that diverse dialogue going on in our organization. I think it's very important to see people not by the color of their skin, not by their ethnicity, their gender, or their sexuality, but by what is inside their hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanjie. Our next candidate for the position of President-elect is Brenda G Larkin. Brenda, when you are ready to begin.
I have never been so proud to be a perioperative registered nurse. Your perseverance and resilience through the challenges of this past year's pandemic has demonstrated that nurses are the backbone of healthcare. Perioperative nurses have risen to the challenge and met our patients' needs under very trying circumstances. Just like the Phoenix, I know we will emerge stronger from this experience and our practice will be elevated due to your hard work. John Maxwell says, change is inevitable, but growth is optional. As your next president-elect, I will work to grow and strengthen AORN for the future by using the lessons we have learned from the pandemic. A membership task force is needed to strengthen our foundation of local chapters and state councils. These are the lifeblood of our association. Therefore, this task force will research and propose ways that we can partner thriving chapters with those that are struggling. Through the concept of sister chapters, we will be able to further strengthen our chapters. As an example, several chapters and specialty assemblies have joined forces virtually this past year, and it has been very successful. Having meetings with more than one chapter or specialty assembly lets our members develop new friendships as well as share resources and education. Chapter leaders and members will be needed to engage and participate with this task force. We need to train new leaders at every level and create opportunity for members to share their expertise in larger settings. I will expand the Chapter Leaders Summit at Expo to give more time and attention to building our local leaders and providing networking opportunities. I will work to include practice experts to speak at regional conferences, giving more opportunities for members to participate in our association's work of education. During my last 4 years as your board representative, I recognize the need for more member involvement in our association's business. We have lost the engagement of our members by replacing robust discussions at our House of Delegates with video conference town halls. These should be reserved for truly time-sensitive issues only. We need time in our House of Delegates for members to bring new concerns to the board's attention so that we ensure that our members' voices are heard and acted upon. This past year, we have taken bold steps in recognizing the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion in our association. I will continue this work until it is prevalent in all areas of our association, from the board to the chapter level. We will not be able to move our association's influence on practice forward without this crucial piece. All members should feel that they are valued and have a sense of belonging to our association. In contrast, incivility and bullying are still rampant in perioperative areas and can be a major deterrent to attracting and retaining new nurses in the operating room. It is not enough to have institutional policies in place that are not enforced or that are ignored altogether. These behaviors have no place in nursing, let alone perioperative nursing, and must be combated at all levels. While AORN has endorsed the ANA position statement on incivility, bullying, and workplace violence, we do not have a tailored toolkit for use in our environment. I would convene a committee to meet and develop such a toolkit to benefit the perioperative nurses and our colleagues by incorporating best practices for identification, reporting, and eliminating incivility and bullying. Perioperative nurses and AORN have always been trailblazers. We are the first nursing specialty and one of the first to organize. We recognized early that there is strength in numbers. Under President Merlino, the board reviewed our history as documented in the book, AORN, Emergence and Growth. The book ends in 2001 and we should update it. I will seek member authors who can research and document our more recent history so that our members can reflect and celebrate where we have been and use our past experiences to propel us into the future. This past summer, I moved from the upper Midwest to Central Oregon. It was not easy to pull up roots, but it has afforded me opportunities to expand my world in every aspect. Like the obstacles faced by the pioneers on the Oregon Trail, the pandemic did not stop me from moving forward, and it will not stop AORN's future either. I ask for your vote so together we can continue the trailblazing work of our association. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Your first question for the position of president-elect is, what do you believe the biggest challenge will be during your term as president?
Thank you, Laura. I believe the biggest challenge will be recovering from the effects of this COVID pandemic and its impact on our association. We have done everything virtually for most of the past year, and our members are anxious to meet together again and to develop those relationships that will lead to the new leaders in our association. I think that our new reality will be able to change the future direction of our association. I think back to the changes that occurred after the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic and how much technology and innovation came out of that experience. And I'm expecting that we'll have that experience, but on steroids now, because we are already in the information age. I think that the second biggest challenge will be getting our members back into some kind of pattern of engagement with the association and being able to engage new members as well and bring new perioperative nurses under the fold of our association. Currently, we represent over 200,000 perioperative registered nurses in the US, but our membership is only a small fraction of that. And we need to be able to ensure that we are representing every aspect of perioperative nursing, from office-based nursing to major academic medical centers in practice and in their needs for support and also for advocacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Your second question for Office of President-elect is, 25% of our membership represent diverse cultures. This year, there are 2 diverse candidates for elected positions. This represents only 10.5% of the membership. If you are elected PE, what would you do to improve the diversity on national committees and task forces?
Yes, Laura, thank you. I think that we need to rely on our members who are from those diverse backgrounds to help the board identify new members that are either persons of color or other ethnicities or backgrounds as candidates for participation in the essays, as well as the committees and task forces that the board puts out every year. I believe that everyone is God created and has inherent value and worth because of that. And so if there are those that feel left out, we want to incorporate them into our fold. Our association should be for every perioperative registered nurse, not just for some. I believe also that people need to be identified by leaders in our association as our future leaders and tapped on the shoulder and asked to serve and stretch themselves. I think that the barriers that are felt by the people of color and other diverse backgrounds need to be broken down actively and consciously in the business of the board.
Thank you, Brenda. This concludes the 2021 Candidates Forum. Thank you to all the candidates for their willingness to participate in this process this afternoon. As chair of the nominating committee, I would like to thank the members of the committee for the time and energy that they devoted to the committee's success this year. The nominating committee encourages you to take time to get to know the candidates on the Voting Matters webpage, aorn.org/voting matters. The candidates forum has been recorded and also live streamed. It will be added to the voting members webpage within a week of this date, March 6th. Remember to use your voice and vote online at www.aorn.org/voting matters, starting March 22nd through midnight Mountain Time, April 23rd. I'd also like to remind you that nominations are being accepted for the 2022-2023 term beginning on March 29th and will run through May 17th. In this election season and going forward, AORN is committed to improving the diversity of its board of directors and nominating committee, and we encourage members to nominate and self-nominate candidates who accurately represent the composition of our membership. It is the association's goal to present an election ballot of individuals who have demonstrated leadership qualities and reflects all races, genders, physical abilities, generations, and sexual orientations. Again, thank you and good luck to all the candidates. It has been our pleasure to serve you.